Alright, so this is going to be a big week. Alright, so this is the week ahead report in true Sidereal Astrology, which is astrology that aligns accurately with the constellations in the sky. So by now, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I talk a lot about true alignment with the stars is important for astrology, which mainstream tropical astrology, which is what a lot of us are paying attention to, doesn't align with the constellations in the sky. So research sidereal astrology versus tropical astrology and precession of the equinox, and you're going to find your own answers there. Alright, which is why I practice true sidereal astrology, because it's rooted in the ancient science, our first science of astrology and astronomy connected as one healing art. Alright, so yeah, it's important. Alright, because this week is a big deal, because what we're looking at this week in this week's report is a new moon, which has a, from our area, which is northeast, it's a partial solar eclipse. And then towards the end of the week, Mercury goes into retrograde. Alright, so solar eclipse is pretty important because, and I'm going to share a few books with you, is astrology works through electromagnetic energy. A lot of us believe it's gravity, but that's just another part, but it's really electromagnetic energy. And primarily the sun is the most important part, because the sun interacts with the planets, and then the sun carries that energy to Earth. So the sun is the center point. So we're going to see, I'm going to open up a few books for you if you want to look more into that. This is a book that, let's see where I'm at with this one. This is called the Cycles of Heaven. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. All right. And there's a part here. There's a part. It's called the Alias Report, or the Alias Effect, where, and I'm going to show you the study real quick. I'm not going to get too much into the details, but I just want to show you what the effect of the sun has on our electromagnetic frequency on Earth. And there was a part where, let me see if I can just find it here. Okay. There was an eclipse on June 30th, and he so he had a big pendulum, and he was proving that electromagnetic energy is what's important, not gravity. So he had his pendulum, and it was making, you know, its little movements that he was able to kind of show. And then when the eclipse happened, the pendulum went crazy because the sun got blocked out, and the pendulum kind of like made erratic movements. It was like out of control, and that's kind of what happens to I guess humans, or every living organism, right? You're influenced by the sun having a whatever type of interaction with the planets, whether it's harmonious or squares or trines, but there's like a relationship there. There's a balance that's going on. So when that gets cut off, which is what happens with an eclipse, because what happens with an eclipse is the moon blocks out the sun rays for just a little bit. I think it's 2 hours, blocks it out. So now you're left with no energy to kind of contain you. So you're actually like kind of loose, and it's an opportunity to kind of find your true soul essence. Because I've witnessed, you know, people under when we had the last solar eclipse, the big one that happened here, I think it was 2017. You know, like all these filters come off, and you become your natural self, and it's an interesting observation. So yeah, so read up on this book. It's a great book about the you know, what the cosmic forces are doing to you. That's actually what it says, right? And then there's another book that I always turn to. It's called Cosmic Influences on Human Behavior, and this is by Michel Guaclin, where they did the study of, it's called the Mars effect, and he proved that the planets do have an effect on humans, right? Because they were trying to debunk astrology. And here's like a quick diagram of what I spoke about with the sun interaction with the planets and us. So you see here shows the sun, the rays hitting the planet and creating little waves of energy, and then those waves of energy um, interact with the electromagnetic frequency of the planet and then carries over onto the planet. So that's how it all works. That's how kind of astrology works. All right, and even if you go to ancient books, I'm going to show you another one here. This is called the Light of Egypt, and it's based on basically the ancient practice of star religion. And here's something here. It says the sun itself is not magnetic but positively electric. The mighty electric forces act upon the planets precisely the same as an electric current upon a piece of soft iron. And then it keeps going on, but this is just talking about how the sun is kind of like a force, right? Oh my God, there's so much. There's another book that I was looking up too. It's called the Celestial Ship of the North, and I'll read it over here. So this is also based on ancient Egypt, like star religion, and a magnetic influence is said to be conveyed by the stars and the planets to every living creature, animal, plant, or mineral belonging to our world. Planets belonging to our solar system are regulated within the limit of the orbits by the sun, but the sun consists of reflected magnetic influence from other solar systems. The ancients never looked upon the sun as the cause of light and heat, but considered it as the vehicle for these, or that through which they passed on their way to Earth. The Egyptians expressed the idea concerning this as the Eye of Osiris. And it just keeps on going on and on. So there's another book if you want to get a little bit expensive, but it's awesome. It's a reprint. All right. So this is just stuff pointing to that, right? And you can research it, because when you have a solar eclipse, that energy is getting cut off. That solar energy, which transmits all of the planetary influences, actually gets cut off. So you kind of could feel left alone. That's why sometimes when people are born on eclipses, they're kind of dark and heavy. Lunar eclipses or solar eclipses. All right, so that's happening on June 2nd in our area, which is northeast, at 3:22. It kind of goes exact. And did I already show you that study? I forgot. Anyway, here's that study about the alias effect. So this was that eclipse that I was talking about on June 30th. So here's the normal interaction with the pendulum. See that? And then when the eclipse happened, bam, the pendulum went crazy, all the way spiked up. And then when the eclipse ended, it went kind of back to normal, kind of just like settled itself. So this is sort of what we're dealing with. That's what happens, right? So that's just what I'm just opening up to you. So now, that being said, I did some writing about what's happening here, and there's a lot going on. So I'm just going to point out some transits at this point. I mean, we can see the new moon is in Gemini. It's a loose conjunction to the North Node, which is why in our area it's a partial eclipse. But I think it's in South America, Argentina, it's a full-on eclipse. But then we're going to notice that when we get further into the week, we're going to notice this conjunction between Mars and Mercury are becoming tighter, while Mercury goes into retrograde. So we're going to take a look at that. Then I was noticing Chiron. Chiron was squared on Venus, so we're going to take a look at that. Yeah, we're going to take a look at a lot of things. But so let me go into the transits real quick. Here we go. Okay, so at this point here is when we're going to have the eclipse, 1344, 1522. It ends on 1701. This is on July 2nd. Alright, that's the solar eclipse. So then we're going to see here Mercury stations retrograde. Starts June 6th, right? So it starts, it starts still, and then it starts its retrograde motion. Then it kicks in on the 7th. Okay, so we're kind of dealing with that towards the end of the week. And then Chiron goes into retrograde at the end of the week as well. So let's just go ahead and read from the beginning of the week, right over here. We still have that Saturn sextile Neptune, which we spoke about in the last video. That was going on for a while, and this is what we related to the crystallization of the dreams. Okay, let me just move this wheel around a bit. Okay, so we notice here, the Saturn still sextiling Neptune. And Neptune is still in Aquarius. And Saturn is in Sagittarius. And we spoke about that. That was about crystallizing the dreams. And then, we see here Saturn is hitting the nodes again. So that's just, it seems to me like this is more kind of crystallization realities, Because that's kind of what we've been dealing with the past month in June, was kind of crystallizing these dreams. Let's see. Then we have Neptune again with the North Node again. Let's see what I wrote down for that. Yeah, I mean, I wrote the same stuff, like that whole dream space is like kind of, we're just like still moving in that direction. But move this over here, right here. So we have this Mercury station retrograde, and then Mercury conjunct Mars. So see what I wrote down here. It's going on in Cancer. So what this could mean, so you have Mars in Cancer and Mercury retrograde in Cancer. I think mainstream astrology was saying Gemini. It's not Gemini. Alright, so it's Cancer, which gives this energy more of like a little bit of moodiness. But being that it's Cancer, it's protective. It could be moodiness. I put moody mind, possible confusion, how to apply energy, fight to protect, right? Because Cancer will always, protect. Mars is the fighter, but Mars in Cancer is like a little bit moody, But then the Mercury retrograde is a little bit confusing because it's like the filter. I hardly give advice, but I do give advice. The advice would be, what I wrote was, if you were to focus the Mars energy on the confused state, because you have this Neptune North Node, the trine, which is like your direction of your dreams and your visions and stuff like that. And then Mercury gets confused, but Mars is there kind of keeping awake, and it's a bit moody, and it's a bit like we'll be pushing through. So if you can focus that energy a little bit, because what happens is you're going to have a glimpse of the future. That's what happens when you have Mercury retrograde. Really what's going on, which is why it's confusing, is because you're seeing things before it happens, because the filter is gone. So you're seeing things unfiltered, planetary influence unfiltered. And then you already had a taste of that on July 2nd when you were dealing with the eclipse, which was total, no influence at all for just a few hours, right? So you had zero influence because the solar energy which vibrates to us, the planetary influences, was totally just gone, right? So you had a taste of this. So you're kind of dealing with who you really are in your true essence, like who you've been built up towards, So you have to you nurture yourself. That's the whole idea with Cancer. It's nurturing. So you nurture yourself. What are you yourself? As a nurtured being, secured being. And I think what could happen is you use that Mars energy to fight for, to see and fight for that vision of the future without any influence, so you can have a true essence of what you really want and not being controlled by the planetary influences. So this could be a good kind of opportunity for you to really assert your own will, because Mars is self-will, willpower. So assert your own will while this is all playing out. I think this would be really cool. Alright, so that's kind of what I'm seeing. Then you have Venus squares Chiron towards the end of the week on the 7th. Then you have Venus sextiles Uranus, which then I noticed that was Uranus. Where was that going on? I thought I saw Uranus. Let me just double check. I thought I saw Uranus having some contact with Mars. Yeah, see, it was square Mars and square Mercury during this time too. So this this is this could be a lot of like awakening force. Let's go back to this transit. Yeah, this could be a lot of awakening force because you have Mercury, Mercury, Uranus connecting, and then Mars. This is big. I mean, it's not showing on the transits because it's not a 1 degree orb that I usually show when I do these transits, but it's happening. You can see it in this aspectarian. Hold on. You see the square with Mars, Mercury, Uranus squares right here. Mars, Mercury, Uranus, Mars, Mercury. Uranus is in Aries, ruled by Mercury. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling it. Let me just move that around. Yeah, so what I wrote here, let's see what I wrote. Awakening the healing process. Yeah, because you have the Chiron goes retrograde, that's internal, and then Venus squares Chiron, so there's like a little bit of, there's some feminine stuff that's doing healing work or being healed, or there's healing work around that. Yeah. So, but that's awakening, yeah, because that Uranus is hitting Mercury and Mars in Cancer, so ruled by the moon, and this is all part of the new moon eclipse kind of deal. You know, so it's a week of getting to know yourself. I think this is what it looks like. Let me see what I have written here. Yeah, let's see if I missed anything. No, we're good. Everything is here. You can always send me a message if I missed it, because I'm already feeling the energy of the eclipse, because I've been like researching it and feeling it and being like, oh my god, freaking tired. So alright, so sign up on the email list. You know, go to Sidereal Astrologist and join our email list. We do these weekly videos, and then also if you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe and the notification bell so you'll see when the new videos come out. I usually launch them on Sunday and Monday. And then join the Facebook group, Sidereal Revolution. It's on Facebook, and we got a lot of cool things going on there. Yeah, so yeah, reach out to me if you're kind of confused about what's going on, because it is going to be a bit confusing. Definitely, for sure. Alright guys, so I'll catch you on the next one. Alright, thanks. Bye.